Ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens in the making. Let me tell you something right now. How you start your day determines how you live your life. If you want to walk in favor, in abundance, in peace, and in power, you better learn to start your day thanking God.
All esteem to the king. We can't humble music. Trench brews. My name is Zoo. My family call me Zoo. That's the merger. It means to bring together. So we just finna talk to him. Came from the ice, we like some dice, you who shook me up. Built from the clay and ATL, that's where he made me from. Don't follow moons or deal with crystals powered by the sun. Every lesson in my life, I teach it to my sons. Been integrated since a baby with a different measure. I'm just talking about my life, they say I'm rapping better. I follow Albert, that's a bet, just like the second letter. Without no roots up in your hoosha, you a lonely fella. I'm with my partners from the bottom since we claim the culture. Chacho keep a cool face like we playing poker. I pray the angels come and get us when this album opens. Fire in my belly burning, you can't stop my motion. You can trust it, get injustice for my boy Malik. Just know the roots a little deeper when you see a tree. I shed some different tears when we lost our partner feet. I tell my story on this beat so they can learn of me. It hurt my soul when my cousin couldn't go no more. I found some solid spirits traveling on this lonely road. Executing all my plays coming from the coach. Gain some better understanding with a new approach. I run with underdogs, a lot of sun to set my part. Abba built us from the trenches, you can't see my art. Survive some testy situations, you can check my chart. I'm Superman for my family, all you see is Clark.
See, too many people wake up checking their phones before they check their spirit. They open their inbox before they open their hearts. But what if, just what if, the very thing you're searching for in the world is waiting for you in the quiet place with your Creator? You want clarity? Start with gratitude. You want peace? Start with praise. You want breakthroughs? Start by thanking the one who already broke the chain.
I'm far from basic, born and graded way back in the 80s. I had my mama and my daddy, but Yahuwah saved me. Changed my thinking and my vision like they do with LASIK. Brothers acting like they Smith, agents in the Matrix. I assist in situations like a pallet jack. Rock told me let him live when I seen a rat. Yahuwah named by the peach on the Georgia tag. I'm better for today, but people pointing at my past. Protect my peace, these demons hard to see. We was bred a little different, we from Forest Creek. I thank the King for his mercy every time we eat. I seen Ivy come from death, this ain't make believe. I told Anua take the lead and I got his back. Gave direction to some people but they missed the map. We showed them love, no conditions but they fumbled that. Jealousy was on their body like we seen a rash. I called your phone like a man but you sent the message. Subliminals online but nobody read it. It's indirect like a child so I won't address it. Bro, you stressing in your life so you moving reckless. Eliminating certain stumbles, I was good at Tetris. Battle demons in my life like my name is Wesley. In my children ain't a kingdom where I put investment. Ruah give me understanding, wear it like a necklace. We working wonders in the trenches where it's single mothers. Feed them brothers with your well and we praying for them. I got a different type of fire, we survived the struggle. Send some prayers for Canal, he just lost his brother. We just built a little different, we not soft like butter. I hope I make it to the kingdom, I just wanna touch them. My grandma gave me all the tools and I really love her. We not here to please, man, keep the king above your merger.
Another might be exclusive.
A Hebrew is found in the world like a lily among thorns. And because of our captivity, we mourn. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. To bring us to the place where we shall roam. Jerusalem. Do what you can, for from the beginning, Abba had a plan above the clouds.
I wake up and thank Abba, he let me see the day. Nothing new under the firmament, ain't no escape. Except that narrow path, the Savior showed us the way. We gon' take the kingdom, right now we in last place. Light speed, tunnel vision, ain't no switching lanes. They think it's a game. Repent or you feel the flames. I ain't judging, it's in the Bible. Read the scriptures, man. They thought Noah was out of his mind, then it rained. What's that above the clouds? Blow your trumpets loud. Heard they building bunkers now. They snatch you from underground. Judgment, and your every work is on trial. Seek him while he could be found. Pursue your purpose now. Israel made a vow, a covenant with the Creator. We transgress over and over, so he sent the Savior. Last days, 11:59. Summon all of Nineveh, cause it might be too late. A minute later, all I see is chariots above the clouds. It's gonna be a problem if they come down. Abba, have mercy. We need you right now. If you don't intervene, ain't no other way out. Unless you swing low, low, swing low. Abba, swing low, low, low. Trumpet now, high pitch, ringing in my ear. I start to levitate. One way to Jerusalem, I pray I get to heaven's gates. Looking at the hourglass, almost out of sand. Just a mortal man, my fate's in the Father's hands. Yeah, had to level up, I got tired of playing. And I got a plan, this music's in high demand, so we're gonna play. Put the message in the lyrics through the Holy Spirit, they'll be transformed when they hear it. I'll be willing, if it works, know the Father did it. I ain't nothing special, I'm just a vessel with pure intentions. We fishers of men, I know oppressor is scared. We in the scriptures again, matter of fact, they terrified. We got the faith of a mustard seed. The moment we under siege, we gon' let these trumpets scream, and they gon' feel it. We back on that ancient path, the Savior paved the way, we gon' make it last. Any moment could be your last. 2020 vision, choose sides, make a decision. The prophets is back, it was written, seek repentance, cause one day you gon' see them chariots above the clouds. It's gon' be a problem if they come down. Abba, have mercy, we need you right now. If you don't intervene, ain't no other way out. Unless you swing low, low, swing low. Abba, swing low, low, low. Trumpet now, high pitch, ringing in my ear. I start to levitate. One way to Jerusalem, I pray I get to heaven's gates. Let it marinate. Mean every word. One day, you gon' look up. You gon' see.
Another might be exclusive.
Glory to Abba, almighty power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. In the name of his son, Yasha, Hamashiach. Well, it's gonna be a problem if they calm down. Abba have. Don't expect this song to be highly acclaimed or highly esteemed by souls that striving for fame, looking for clout. Compared to our Father's riches, your dollars is change. I learned who we are, never looked at the Bible the same. Frowns on their faces, I try to explain. They scratching their heads, I'm like, bear with me. Cause early on this knowledge was hard to retain. It led to blank stares, or awkward silence remains. Why the tribe's waking up after all of this time? His son's starting to shine, he getting his daughters in line. When we call ourselves Jews, they call it a crime. How can I be anti-self? They got our hands tied. What, we supposed to do nothing? I should just stand by. Said we can't wake them all up, so what, we can't try? He took the flag out his pocket when they got baptized. Congratulations, eternal life is your grand prize. You going to paradise. I've been in his word all day, looking for the truth that was right in my face. There's nothing to say, but Abba, have mercy, renew our strength. This truth is gonna set us free. We need mercy. There's nothing more I could say, but renew our strength. Point me to the ones that say the most prayers. Keep me far from the faith killers, the soul slayers. Chapter 3, verse 5, I'm in Hosea. In the midst of the furnace with no fear, my bros here. We walk out untouched, you know they gon' stare. The table is prepared. Oppressor gotta watch. Recompense, his judgment is so fair. Now shake them demons off of your coattail. Now you can board this ark or deal with the flood and watch the boat sail from underwater with no air. Shoulder shrugs and oh wells until the flood comes and you ain't going nowhere. Who gon' help you then? Who you gon' tell? Recompense, his judgment is so fair. Reading Psalms 91, that's a whole prayer. Under his wings we trust. How we gon' fail? Huh? I've been in his word all day, looking for the truth that was right in my face. There's nothing to say, but Abba, have mercy, renew our strength. This truth is gonna set us free. We need mercy. There's nothing more I could say but renew our strength.
And it says here, and the Most High will show thy brightness into every country under heaven, every nation, because we're coming back into being royal kings, and priests and prophets and princesses and daughters and wives. And it says, and arise, O Jerusalem, and stand on high, and look about toward the east, and behold, thy children gather from the west.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praise to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The mighty Yakim from the Light of Zion will introduce himself. Hallelujah.
Shabbat shalom. This is Captain Zamar from the Light of Zion. Hallelujah.
Shabbat shalom. This is Captain Kyron from the Light of Zion. Hallelujah.
This is Captain Asher from the Light of Zion. Shalom.
Shalom, Captain Hamad with LOZ. Shalom.
Shalom, this is Officer Matazai with the Light of Zion. Hallelujah.
All praise to the Most High, to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Peace and blessings to the family in the chat. Let's see who we got in the building. Hold on. Who we got in the building? Shabbat shalom to Abram. All praise to the Most High. Shabbat shalom. All right, I think that's our elder. All praises. Shabbat shalom to Don Israel. All praise to the Most High, to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So all praise to the Most High. We pray that everybody's week made it throughout the week. All right, that's good. We was able to make it, and the Most High kept us protected. So that's always a blessing. All praise to the Most High. All right, so we see the title of the class, Justice for Trey Reed. Right, Justice for Trey Reed. We're gonna go into an article, a couple videos, and just shine some light on a lot of people we see. What do they call it? Selective outrage. When we talk about, you got all these news channels and all these different personalities on TV doing these different bits on Charlie Kirk, but when it's time to talk about the actual crimes that happen to our people on a day-to-day basis, people they go silent. Now there's no airtime for that. So we're gonna bring it out, bring it out through the Spirit, bring the precepts out, so we can definitely identify the season that we're in right now, when it comes to our people. So can someone open up a Colossians 3:17? Baba Show.
I got it. The book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Yahushua, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by him.
So everything that we do in word or deed is to glorify the Most High through his anointed Son, the King of Israel, Hamashiach Yahushua. All right. All praises. So before we get started, 1 second, I'm just getting my camera, popping my camera down. Brothers, had anything they wanted to bring out before we get started?
Based on the topic that we're getting into, I just kind of wanted to point out the fact that the brother that we're doing the class on tonight is one of many over the past, I would say maybe 4 to 5 months that have suffered the same penalty, or I'm sorry, no, I don't want to say penalty, but suffered the same type of atrocity. And I believe it's all been, well, I wouldn't say all in the state of Mississippi, but from Mississippi, Georgia, Carolina. I recently saw a story of a brother hung in New York. There was a sister hung as well. The brother in New York was hung inside of a house. So there's been quite a few of our people that have been subjected to the same type of atrocity. So this isn't a one-off. This isn't a situation that's singular. It's something that's been happening. You know, I definitely think that you know, us as a people, this is an opportunity for us to you know, to just kind of take heed, to band together as a nation and to protect one another. You know, scriptures tells us in Zephaniah 2:1 to gather ourselves together, O nation not desired. And we are truly that nation that's not desired, because who else do you see? You don't see Arabs, you don't see Indians, Chinese, Japanese, white people. You don't see nobody else hanging and swinging from a tree besides us. Right? So we have to make the decision, the conscious decision as a nation, to protect one another. Stop hating on one another and worried about who said what about who. And I don't give a damn what Young Thug said about whoever. That stuff does not matter. These are all distractions that take us away from the true matter, that we have an enemy and we need to protect each other, because nobody else is going to be there for us besides ourselves. I yield.
One moment, family. I'll be right back.
I'll just add to. So like,
good, Cap.
You got it, Cap. I was kind of thought of. I was just gonna add too. You know, kind of just letting me backing off what the Cap was saying. You know, we got enemies from all sides. All right, we got enemies from all sides. You can't trust your own people. You got enemies of your own people. Then you got enemies outside of your own people. All right, so it's like the game is sticky for the children of Israel, because you don't know who's really down for you. You know, the old saying is, all kinfolk ain't skin, all skinfolk ain't kinfolk. All right, you know, you can't even trust your own people, and then you can't trust people on the outside, which forces our people to be loners. All right, that's why a lot of our people adopt the mentality of, you know what, I'm gonna just be by myself, right? Not realizing how detrimental that is. Because I'm gonna tell you something, like, all of this connects, right? And we're gonna get into the topic. But when our people separate from each other, there's only so far we can go, right? There's only so far you can go. If you look at people who build cities and nations, you cannot do that. One person cannot do that. Your family cannot. Your family reaches a ceiling unless you start working together to put those bricks together. All right, that's the number one thing I learned. This is called, macroeconomics. All right, you have to work together, and by pushing ourselves into the loner mentality, because you can't trust your own people, and then you don't trust people on the outside, it forces you to be on the bottom of society. All right, all of these things go together, man. All of it connects. All right. So when we look at what the topic of tonight is, we see another brother has had his life taken, and I just seen that they ruling it as a suicide. This is egregious behavior. It's egregious, and it's really a slap in our face. All right, say, look, man, we know that wasn't no suicide, but we're gonna say it was, and nobody gonna do nothing about it. But the Most High already told us that, vengeance is his. When the Most High cursed us, he said, there shall be no might in your hand. There's no power. There's no power. Right? So we gotta examine all of these things and put it together. Go ahead,
And one thing, this is why, this is why I truly believe it's not no suicide. I remember literally when I was watching that whole Charlie Kirk situation, and I seen it on TikTok. There's like, oh, Charlie Kirk got shot, right? And then when I saw the video on Twitter, I said, that boy out of there. But the media tried to make it seem like he was still alive, he's still fighting, but nah, bro. He was out of there by the time he got hit. But they try to make this perception like he was still fighting for his life. That's why I noticed the media, bro, they be tripping. Now, them trying to say that the medical examiner is saying this man is ruling it a homicide. My question is, what is used, or what is the method of, I guess, examination
Like
to
indicators.
to indicators to confirm that it is in fact a suicide, not a homicide, right? That's what I want to know, because that just doesn't make any sense. All right, so
Gone. It's Salakia.
Mhm.
And I think in the report too, they also said both of his legs was broken in his arm. So if the brother leg was broken, how could he like hang himself?
Exactly.
That's not logical. Like,
Con.
gone.
No, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Right. So let me see if I have a video. Okay, I got this video here. It's about a minute, some change. Gonna watch this right here. Sure. Con. Can y'all see my screen?
Con.
Okay, Con, all praises.
Con.
All right, all praises. All right, Con.
Honestly, I feel like this is something deeper than that. I feel like this man's death has something to do with something deeper than this, than them just saying the cover up, like, oh, the Jake death. There has to be something greater on this other side that they're trying to hide, because realistically, anybody who has a base level IQ can easily say can easily know there's no way that this man could have hung himself. You mean to tell me that his arms and legs are broken? If I'm not mistaken, there was a garbage bag placed over him, right? If I'm not mistaken, like over his body. And you mean to tell me that this man was able to hang himself to commit a suicide on a tree at the campus? Most times when somebody commits a self-deletion, if you will, they mostly do that in the comforts in confined spaces of their home or in a closet, not openly. That's not a normal thing for that to occur openly, which I find kind of like hypocritical, is that they didn't do a just investigation on what was leading up prior to this. If it was a suicide, they should have been looking through his phone, making sure that, oh, he was talking about this. They should have been asking friends and relatives, how was he reacting to weeks prior. They didn't do none of that.
Con, that's a good point. You know, like where is the follow-up? Like that, like you said, like there has to be something that occurred leading up to that point. Like it's like, unless he was fighting a silent battle that we don't know about. But then again, I mean, it takes a lot for you to go ahead and want to hang yourself, and there's nothing that propels that.
Right. And the thing is, there's even indicators prior to that. Because most times when a suicide does happen, it's more when they're becoming isolated, when they become more isolated from the people they're around. They're not out in the open. They're not hanging out as often. They at home all the time. They're not in contact with family members or anybody. Because I want to see his phone. I want to see it. Was he in contact with anybody prior to leading up to this? What was he texting? His social media? What his social media was looking like? And I also want to see the surveillance cameras of the surveillance camera of the college campus. Because if it's a college campus, they definitely have cameras. So you mean to tell me that this man was able to walk past multiple cameras and not get seen before he hung himself? Where's the ropes in his hand? Because he has to carry all these items with him going to that tree in Cleveland. What are you?
In addition to that, every situation that occurred like this, the autopsy reports always end up the same. It was an apparent suicide, which leads me to believe that the officials that are in charge of these autopsies, the people that are dealing with the evidence, the entities that are first on the scene, those that are writing up the reports, they have to be hiding things. There's no way that you can come to the conclusion that all of these brothers and sisters that are being found hung are committing suicide. That's just a ridiculous conclusion to come to. I guess the efforts that they put into investigating these situations is just like at the lowest level possible. There's no care, and I don't think there's any type of intensity put into these investigations because they come to the conclusion way too fast. How is it that the man has broken legs and broken arms, but he's able to hang himself, and then they conclude that it was a suicide? That just lets me know that just like the court systems, it's rigged and it's against us. So these coroners and these people that are doing the autopsies, it's the same situation. And I would go as far as even to say that who can get away with crimes like this and not get caught? Because like Captain Asher was saying, this camera's everywhere. So to be able to get away with something like this, you have to have a certain level of power to be able to remove evidence, erase videotapes, have this type of influence and power to keep yourself from getting discovered for committing these heinous crimes. It's not a coincidence that all of these situations end the same way with the same conclusion. It just doesn't make any sense. Are you?
I got perfect precept to go with that. So this is the book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 1, and it reads, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand." So like the captain was saying, the people who are in control, they might be hiding something because it's the power's in their hand. Like they get to choose what goes out to the news and the medias. They get to choose if people could see the surveillance camera, so they could hide whatever they want to hide. But at the end of the day, we know the Most High, nothing is unseen with the Most High. So they're gonna pay for everything that they think they're getting away with. So I yield that.
I want to point out a fact, a quick note. When you look at the fashion, this is how you know the Most High chose us, right? I don't think the way the scriptures are written is not by coincidence. When you read Acts chapter 5 and you read how Christ died, now we understand the language, we understand, how Christ,
You going into the Matrix, brother. You going into the Matrix. Your mic is going glitchy on your camera.
Con, can I be heard now?
Yeah, you can be heard.
All right, Con. I was just pointing out the fact that when you read Acts chapter 5 and verse 30, it says, "The God of our fathers raised up Yahushua Christ, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree. Now, we know that this has been one of the favorite execution tactics against the children of Israel throughout the history of time. I don't think it's a coincidence that our people up until this day are dying in the same fashion. It's showing you something very clear. There's a correlation there. They killed Christ and they kill our people in the same way, the same fashion. The way the scriptures are written is written to show us. It's right in front of our face. This is another example of how we relate to being the chosen people that God put on the face of this earth. All right? These things are not by coincidence. It's like, oh, well, yeah, Christ died on the tree. I guess he died on the tree too. It's just a coincidence. No, it's really not. We really got to examine and look deeper into these things and what the scriptures are saying. All right? Christ died in a very similar fashion as our people died up until today. And when you look at the history of Mississippi is known for hanging dudes, black people, Negroes. They're known for this. This is not something new. This isn't anything new. This is something that they've practiced throughout history. I'm talking about the 1950s, 1960s, 1970s.
Your mic went out. Your mic went out again.
He cut out for me.
Yeah, he said he yielded.
Okay.
I do want to say this though. I'm pretty sure, like, the Israelites that's watching this video, they're in the same line as us. They agree, right? But I know there's people that may come across this video, and the first thought they have is, oh wait, but we're all equal. The color don't matter. This, that. But like, history is showing and exposing a lot of things. The Bible said there's nothing new under the sun. And just like Captain Kadash just brought out, that's something that our people been going through for the longest, right? There's literally nothing new under the sun. The Most High, to me, with that logic, the Most High made different races. The Most High did that. The same way the Most High made male and female, and everybody trying to stand on business. Oh, I'm a male, I'm a female. Everybody trying to change genders. That's a mental illness. It's the same thing when it comes to race. We're all the same. We're all one. Clearly, the Most High did not make us the same. That's also a mental illness, right? Because there's the blacks, there's the Hispanics, there's the whites, there's the Asians. You could clearly see there's differences, right? And the people that have been struggling the most is our people. We're the one locked up in jail 99% of the time. We're the one that's we got churches built all over in the hoods, religion forced upon our people. The system is to fail us. The system is to keep us down as a people, right? So when you see these curses we go over, being hung on the tree is one of the curses that our people is suffering, right? So it's really nothing new under the sun. You see it happening to the Israelites, that would tell you, and this is proof that we are the Israelites also, right? So I lay my plan on that.
Con, I want to play this video, and they also just brought out that Colin Kaepernick, they said he's funding his own independent, well, not his own, not him doing it, but he's funding an independent autopsy or a secondary autopsy on his body to confirm exactly what happened, because
Hallelujah.
they're trying to rule it as a suicide. And I just can't believe that. I mean, do we deny the fact that is something that our people do, where we're like, our people have mental issues like that, and it could cause someone to do that. We're not denying that. We don't encourage any of our brothers and sisters to go that route if they're suffering from pain or depression or sadness or whatever the case may be. So we understand that is something that inflicts our people, but this right here, it just doesn't sound right. The scriptures tell us about not, afflicting yourself in your own counsel. So it's yeah, I was looking for the article that mentions about his legs being broken. I was trying to see if I can find like who exactly mentioned that. Did the family mention that? Did the cops mention that? Where is that being mentioned? I wanted to kind of read that. But yeah, I'm gonna watch this. I'm trying to see if I can get some more research on that. All right.
Trey Reed, the 21-year-old black student who was found dead and hanging from a tree at Mississippi's Delta State University. Police are now ruling his death a suicide after performing an autopsy. It remains an active investigation. The FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office say they are further reviewing the case.
I don't know, man. I just don't believe it. I personally don't believe it. I do want to get some more information in regards to what their family has said.
I want to bring out a scripture.
Come on.
Real quick. This is the book of Galatians, chapter 3 and verse 10. Is that what I want? Yeah, Galatians chapter 3 and verse 10. And it reads, "For as many as are of the works of the law are under the curse. For it is written, cursed is everyone that continueth not in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them." So now, Captain Kadash said something earlier about, this being something that was tailor-made, I would say, for our people, as a punishment for our people, because our Savior was done the same way, not in the exact same fashion, but in the same light, right? And we all understand and know, and hopefully everybody understands and knows that the law was given to the children of Israel, right? So the children of Israel are under the curse of the law. And this is why you see Israelites hanging from trees. Like I mentioned earlier, you don't see other nations dealing with this type of punishment. You only see the children of Israel that go through this. So that just goes to show, and it further proves that this law is for us, and the punishments of the law for breaking the law is for us, exclusively for us as well.
I wanna that's a powerful point. I want to bring out the right, Con. You said, where is Trump in the midst of this? Why is there no outcry from him being hanged? Being hanged, we know of course, but that should highlight things for Jake. Absolutely, and they don't care about what happens to our people. They trying to build statues for that Charlie dude, right? They trying to build statues for that man. And when it comes, and these type of things happen to our people all the time, but they want to, what's the word I'm looking for? Is that the word venerate? Right? Is that the word I'm looking for? Yeah, they want to venerate him like he's some god on earth when these type of things happen to our people all the time, man. Right? So I want to watch this video. It's like a little bit of questions I was asked to the police. And I think it's very, very interesting. I'm going to play just a little bit of this video.
By the preliminary report of the Baldwin County Coroner's Office indicates no evidence of foul play. We recognize that this is not only about facts. It's about emotions and it's about feelings. And the way this loss and how it was discovered affects people's lives. And I'll further say that I admit that I am not adequate to speak to the imagery that this incident raises. I acknowledge my weakness in that regard. The second point I'd like to make before I turn it over to law enforcement is that the university and I personally have been in regular, frequent contact with next of kin. And I'll say, for those of you who are not used to how universities work, I'll take a moment to explain. When a student comes to this university, or almost any university in America, they fill out a contact form. This applies to Trey Reed and applies to every other student at Delta State. The student chooses who to indicate is their personal contact. The student tells us their next of kin.
The best of Europe, 11 days, just 27.
The moment we discovered this, and from the moment law enforcement was engaged, 7:30 in the morning on Monday, this university has been in regular, frequent contact with the next of kin. Now we'll go ahead and acknowledge that the student always chooses their next of kin. Trey Reed gave us 2 names and the contact information for the people he wanted to be contacted in the event of emergency. And we have maintained contact with those 2 people. And I know this may seem like some kind of legalistic distinction, but this is how we have to operate. This is a choice made by the student, and a choice made by the student has to be respected even when the student's no longer with us.
I'm trying to figure out where he's trying to go with that.
I slack you. My bad.
Go ahead.
I'm with you. I don't understand the significance of that statement. What's the point of him mentioning that?
Yeah, why is he emphasizing the fact that he had his own people that he wanted us to contact? I mean, okay. I mean,
why isn't he addressing the events that happened prior to his death? Why isn't he speaking on the camera footage of his whereabouts, who he spoke to prior to? That information is more pertinent than who they're contacting. He's dead. I mean, it's too late. That's a matter that it's not going to bring him back. Who he put down on his contact list in the case of emergency, that doesn't help. They should be talking about the things that led up to it, who they're investigating, what they're investigating, instead of just saying, oh, well, it was a suicide. To think that the man had broken arms and broken legs and he's hanging from a tree. Where's the footage coming from him coming in and out of his dorm room? Where's the last place he was seen? Like Captain Asher said, look at his call log, his text messages. There's a what do you call it? Everybody that has a smartphone, it has a record of their whereabouts. It keeps track of where they had been in the past. I don't know how long it tracks, but all of that information is there. But nobody's investigating that pertinent information. They're talking about who was on his contact list. That's asinine to me. Are you?
And I also acknowledge that there is a distinction between next of kin and family. And I acknowledge that both next of kin and family are grieving. But from the point of view of doing this correctly and right and respecting the students' wishes, the university has been and will continue to be in direct contact with Trey's chosen names. And those individuals, they can choose to do what they will with the information and the communication we give them. So I ask everyone to please be respectful in the sense that this was a choice the student made, and the university is respecting his choice. He told us who he wanted us to talk to in the event of an emergency, and that's what we continue to do. And I can go ahead and say that I recognize that there is family, and some family are not the names that Trey gave us. I'm so sorry. We are sharing all the information we can, and we will continue to work through the people that this student chose when he put his name on that form and he said, who do you want the university to contact in the event of emergency? And that's the kind of protocol that almost every university in America would follow. And if we do not follow that protocol, I don't think we're being respectful to the choice the student made. In other matters, I'll go ahead and say that university continues to completely cooperate with multiple law enforcement agencies represented behind me, and that in every request regarding information regarding evidence, regarding anything connected with this incident. We have been fully forthcoming and will continue to be so. And lastly, I want to say that we have to think about our losses and we have to think about our current students. So we are simultaneously grieving, we are simultaneously processing, and I think every minute about Trey. But I also have to think about my 2,800 other students and protect them as well. In that regard, we've been very grateful that we have had increased law enforcement presence on this campus. And unfortunately, that's because this campus has received threats. And my message to that regard would be, we have students here. They came here to get an education. And folks who threaten the institution are hurting the students. And we don't want that. We're supposed to be a place where students come to feel safe and to learn. That's our mission, and that's what we'll continue to do. With that, I will turn this over to Chief Fielder, who will address the investigation. Thank you.
Good morning. Delta State University Police continues to mourn the tragic loss of Trey Reed. Our hearts remain with his family, friends, and all who are affected during this deeply painful time. Following the discovery of the deceased on campus on Monday morning, and the release of Bolivar County Coroner's official statement, his body has been transported to the Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office. The Chief Medical Examiner began conducting a full autopsy this morning. Preliminary results are expected to be available within the next 24 to 48 hours. This joint investigation remains active, and the Delta State University Police is in full cooperation with all agencies involved. This is an isolated incident. Due to the support of the state and local law enforcement and the increased law enforcement presence here at Delta State, there are currently no active threats to the campus, and the university remains a safe environment for students, faculty, and staff. Delta State Police, in conjunction with the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, Bolivar County Sheriff's Office, and Cleveland Police Department, plans to provide another update once preliminary findings are released and the university officials have met privately with the next of kin. Out of respect for those grieving, we ask for continued patience and compassion as this investigation proceeds. Again, we extend our deepest condolences to those impacted by this tragedy. Support services remain available for anyone in need of assistance. And again, this deeply saddens us. He's one of ours. And so our hearts go out. We mourn as well. At this time, are there any questions?
Chief, Martin Scott from Fox 13 News in Memphis. First question that comes out is, how was the statement foul play has been ruled out so soon when you just said a preliminary coroner's report hasn't even been released?
Thank you for your question. Again, the statement was initially, at this point, we didn't believe or have evidence of foul play.
One of the great challenges in this world is knowing
Put me back in. Can I be heard? Can I be heard? Now, boom. This is what. See, this is why I love some reporters when they really be doing their investigations. He just cut the man. Run it back.
How was the statement foul play news in Memphis?
Assistance. And again, this deeply saddens us. He's one of ours. And so our hearts go out. We mourn as well. At this time, are there any questions?
Chief, Martin Stahl from Fox 13 News in Memphis. First question that comes out is, how was the statement foul play has been ruled out so soon when you just said a preliminary coroner's report hasn't even been ruled?
Thank you for your question.
So to repeat the question, he said, "How can there's an echo? Hold on. All right, come on. He said, "How can foul play be ruled out before the preliminary coroner exam was even completed? How do you rule out the possibility of foul play before the coroners even come to a conclusion of what happened to the body?"
Cover up. Cover up. That's all you can say. That logically doesn't make sense. That who even authorized to even say we're gonna throw it out? We're just gonna push. I want to know who said let's push out foul play because this can't be foul play. I want to know who that is. And honestly, from the body language of this I don't know who this guy is, the officer or just the officer. He's giving me as if he's been muzzled in a sense. Is that he knows some type of information that he can't openly express. Or there was some type of information that he was given privy to, but wasn't was told, hey, nah, dead this on the spot. But this is why I love reporters too, because some reporters really do their due diligence. And he literally just tripped him up on his own statement. But come.
Again, the statement was initially, at this point, we didn't believe or have evidence of foul play.
That's a crazy statement.
That is a very crazy statement.
Didn't believe. I don't give a damn about what you don't believe. Tell me what it is. We don't know what you believe.
It's all about what the facts has been given onto you. If you're an investigator and you're supposed to be investigating a crime, you don't rule out nothing. Nothing is ever supposed to be ruled out. You're supposed to accept all perspectives and all manners of different angles and ways of how this situation has led up to this point. So you can't just automatically say, as an investigator, we're gonna rule out foul play in the midst of a suicide. You always must check if there's foul play. That's the first number one thing they do check. But they automatically ruled it out.
Yeah, for them to say something like that in a matter so serious is just negligent, and it's fundamentally irresponsible, and it sends mixed messages to the family. It's just so many things wrong with them, being so nonchalant and making that type of statement. You just can't do that. And for them to be, dealing with, such, like I said, such a serious matter. I mean, that's why people lose confidence in law enforcement, because they just so nonchalant when it comes to something like that. Now, if that was like, Karen Simpson from, Delaware, I guarantee you they wouldn't make a statement like that. They would gather all the facts before they said anything. It's just wild for them but that's how they deal with it. They deal with us in the situations regarding us like we're, second-class citizens, or even like we animals. The situation is not that serious to them.
And there's one thing that I also wanted to say too. It's very funny to me that a Jake gets killed on public property, and it's funny that if this was like you were saying, Cap, a Karen If it was Edomite, there will be FBI involved. It will be the CIA. It will be the DEA. It will be Homeland Security. It will be Homeland Security all investigating this quote unquote suicide to make sure that it was a self-inflicted thing. But even here with this Jake, the negligence is still there. They're saying, "Oh, we didn't believe it was foul play." But what about history? If especially in Mississippi, like powerful Captain Kadash was saying, the history of Mississippi of black men getting lynched. Why did you automatically or believe in your heart, in your own logic, that you're gonna say, nah, this man offed himself, but his arms and his legs are broken? There's something fishy going on. And this is from an outside perspective. This is not from an investigator's perspective. This is just common sense. Something's up. But I yield.
Con, I'm also trying to see if I can find information about his body, because they're saying that his leg was broken. But I'm trying to confirm where did that state? Who made that state? Because that's important. I'm gonna continue.
Chief Ross Adams, 16 WA50 at Jackson. You talk about in the initial report about a no foul play. Did you personally put your eyes on the student's body, and how do you make a determination by making a physical observation without having any knowledge about what happened to that person's body?
Well, with the combined effort of Delta State Police, Cleveland PD, Baldwin County Sheriff's Office, yes, did we lay eyes on the student? I did. I was there. I'm one of the first on the scene. And again, it's an ongoing investigation.
Hold on. Did I hear that question right? Hold on.
What's so fabulous?
Because it sounds like he's reiterating the first question on how did they determine there was no foul play on the initial, I guess the initial encounter, with Trey Reed's body. I think that's the question he asked. Hold on.
Coroner's report hasn't even been released.
Thank you for your question. Again, the statement was initially, at this point, we didn't believe
a no foul play. Ross Adams, 16 WA50 at Jackson. You talk about in the initial report about a no foul play. Did you personally put your eyes on the student's body, and how do you make a determination by making a physical observation without having any knowledge about what happened to that person's body?
Well, with the combined effort of Delta State Police, Cleveland PD, Baldwin County Sheriff's Office, yes, did we lay eyes on the student? I did. I was there. I'm one of the first on the scene. And again, it's an ongoing investigation.
You're asking my question, and you're including all these different agents. I'm asking about you, the head of the Delta State.
Again, I was there. I was the second officer from my department on the scene.
Yesterday, Trey's grandfather said that the first call he received, the officer told him that Trey was found in his room. But then the next call he received, and I'm quoting him, they said he hung himself. Can you explain that discrepancy?
Yeah, I don't have any knowledge of any calls that the grandfather received. I know I did speak to the grandfather for the next of kin, and outside of that, I can't answer what calls he received. Who received it from.
No, that's kind of crazy. Hold on, I'm about to it's good. Kind of low echo. That's kind of crazy. You're telling me you're the man up there to answer these questions, imperative questions about what led up to the point and after. One of the family members get a phone call saying that he initially gets a call saying that Trey Reed's body is in his dorm, and he gets another phone call saying that his body was hanged. And he's asking him why was there a discrepancy in communication and where they found him? And he's saying, well, I don't know who called him. I don't know about that. What? So a ghost called him? That doesn't make any sense. That's a red flag.
But then he also turned around and said he spoke to the grandfather. So
okay, right. So
what's going on? There's too many discrepancies and holes in the story. For these to be law enforcement officials to be doing a thorough investigation, this is really bad.
Right.
Con, and I agree with you. And here's another thing that was throwing me off. If you was there at the scene first, right? How can you automatically say, "Oh, this is a suicide," when you're not even a coroner? When you don't even know how a body is supposed to look in the midst of a suicide, or to even judge it out with just your own two eyes. That doesn't make sense. You're putting the cart before the horse. Yeah, I seen his body. He's justifying what he said because he's seen his body. You're not a coroner. Like, you don't know, you don't understand certain things, what the body does during the process of a death. And you don't even know how to read the body signs and how things, the skin texture and all that, to see what has transpired to that body prior to its death. For you to automatically say that was retarded. And I yield.
Yeah, that's where he messed up at, bro. That's where he messed up, saying he's seen the body, and then to say it was suicide. Like, usually, like, you wouldn't be able to tell. You could look at the things around it. Oh, look, I could see that he climbed a ladder. I could see a staircase or whatever it is, and then assume that. But you still have to go further and investigate. But to say you just seen the body, that right there is a red flag. And honestly, I don't know if it's me, but every time I see like a cop being interviewed, it's always a black cop. Every time one of our people die, it's always a black cop that they throw up there so they could like answer the questions. I don't know if he's being forced to say these stuff or if he was genuinely like going through that. I don't know. But it kind of seems like I see a pattern. Maybe I'm tripping, but come.
No, we seen that a couple weeks ago. We seen the same thing. We put a black cop up there to answer all the questions because, if we have a black cop, then there's no foul play going on because we have a black man investigating. Come on.
And that's every time a black person dies, every time, right? But I'm gonna pay attention to that though, because maybe it's just a coincidence or something.
Do any videos exist? There have been reports of alleged videos.
There are videos, and they're in the hands of the investigative team. Right now, Cleveland PD is leading the investigation. This is our investigation, but they're leading in the investigation.
So there was surveillance video that captured what happened to Trey on campus at the time of his death?
I can't speak at that at this moment. Again, there is video, but it's still, the investigation is ongoing.
Is there surveillance video that would capture what happened in that area where his body was found in the phone calls?
And again, there's video out there, and we can't speak to that at this moment. It's still an ongoing investigation.
Can you talk about the threats that were made to campus that you received?
Hi, I'm Andy Levy.
Bruh, Now it's even getting more stickier because now there's potentially. This is why I love some reporters when they do their job. The fact that they're asking these questions and he cannot answer. He's not giving an answer, but it's giving an answer. The fact that there could be surveillance, there is, or possibly could be, a surveillance of Trey Reed. Now there's some type of implication of like, okay, there could be something going on. I don't know. But the way he's answering it sounds like there's something more to it. But Con, I yield.
It's still a long investigation.
Can you talk about the threats that were made to campus that the university president alluded to?
Just the fact that again, emotions are arising. People are calling, and I don't have a specific threat yet, but again, the threats.
Again, I can't stand people like that, bro. Like, you came there to answer questions, bro.
Maybe phone calls and staff and students are receiving, but specific threats, I don't have those details.
Could we get President Ennis to address those specific threats, because you talked about the increased law enforcement, and can you tell us the nature of the threats that have been received?
So we will defer to law enforcement regarding whether these threats are credible. Right now, the law enforcement behind me and those joining with Delta State have declared the campus remains safe. I don't need to point you all to people on social media saying things about this campus, some of which sound threatening. We hope that they would stop entirely. Law enforcement will determine if anybody is really a credible threat to the campus. They can run down names. They can figure out if someone is simply being a troll online or whether there's somebody who might actually take action. At this point, we don't have any credible threats that I'm aware of, and law enforcement will let me know. But that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt when someone calls the office and says that this is a terrible place and that people should be hurt. And I hope that that's just empty threats, but offices, phones are ringing. And unfortunately, and I'll go ahead and say this, like many universities, our phones are manned mostly by student workers. So can you imagine a student worker, 19-year-old sophomore, who's got a part-time job answering an office phone, a totally normal thing on a college campus, picks up the phone and someone uses profanity and says something that implies violence. So we have had to change our whole protocol regarding answering the phone, and the same for online posts. And looking the balance between free speech, people can of course get online and say what they want, and protecting our students and faculty and staff. So I reiterate what the chief said. Our law enforcement experts are following every lead, and they're analyzing every post and every phone call to see if there's a credible threat.
Sir, Martin Stone, Fox 13 Memphis. In the current climate, in the dismantling of DEI programs across the country on college and university campuses, how would you describe the state of race relations here at Delta State University in the student body?
One of the things I love about Delta State is that it's what America should be. I've got 40% African-American students, and they eat and play and work and learn beside white people. And yeah, there's always tensions in every college campus. There's always disagreements. I was in the gym the other night playing pickup basketball. I know it's hard to imagine, but in the pickup basketball just happened to be 3 white guys, one of which was me, and 3 black guys, and that was not remarkable. That was not unusual on this campus. I'm not saying this is heaven, but I'm saying I can walk into my cafeteria right now and see black people and white people eating together. I walk into my classroom on Tuesday morning, and I didn't count heads, but my classroom looked like America. And so I can't speak to the hearts of how individual students are reacting to this. I can say that my heartbreak is comprehensive, not just for Trey, although it is primarily for Trey, but for the fact that the rest of the world has an impression of Delta State that is so at odds with what I know to be this institution. This institution should not be associated with hate or hate crimes. If people knew this place, they look at it and say, wouldn't it be better if America was more like Delta State University? And we'll continue to be that in our little community, and the rest of the world will not know the joy and the grace of people living and working together and respecting each other. I'm not going to speak to a larger issue, DEI. I'll say we should live in a world where we don't need anything but decency and respect. And I feel that at this place, or I wouldn't be here.
Right. So, we're definitely gonna follow this story, and hopefully we can get some more information. I was trying to look to try to see if I can get some more details about the broken bones and things like that, but everything I'm seeing is just pointing towards, no foul play in his examination. But yeah, we're definitely gonna follow the story. We understand how evil this world is, and these things happen. I want to read this verse here. It's the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, and verse 16. I'll start at verse 15. It says, "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is." So in these days, when we start to see these things happen, we got to stay girded up in the spirit, because the Most High is making his visitations on the earth. He is showing that these things that happen to our people is possible. It's possible for our people to get caught up like that. And the only protection that we have is by having faith in the Most High and keeping his commandments. Our hearts out goes to the family. We pray for strength for them and peace for them, and obviously truth at the end of the day as well. A lot of people are saying a lot of things, but hopefully, the Most High reveals anything that's being hidden against them or away from them. All right, I yield on that.
That was powerful what you were saying. I wanted to say this. I wanted to make this quick point. Listen, I know throughout our day to day, we deal with, Esau and stuff like that. And sometimes we could kind of get close and get buddy with Esau, but we also have to remember that we cannot trust them. No matter how much we deal with them, how cool they may seem, and how nice they are, you still have to remember what the scriptures say is that we can never trust our enemy. We can never trust them, because as soon as things get to popping, that you start to see their true side. I'm gonna get that preset real quick. 1 second, family. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy. One second. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. So it goes into saying that we have to be mindful of the time that we spend with these other nations, man, and really remember that we can't never fully trust these other nations, because if we do, we can end up just like this brother. People could say that it's not foul play. I believe through the discernment of the Spirit of the Most High that there was foul play being done, and they're doing something behind the scenes to cover it up. It either got to be somebody's son, somebody of great importance that was found at that scene. Gotta be. I'm just making an assumption. But my thing is this: we gotta be mindful. We still have to remember that Esau is not our people, and that we really gotta separate from these people. We really gotta make sure that we're walking in circumspect when it comes to dealing and being around these people. And I yield.
Con, my final thoughts on that last part of the video. I don't know, bro, because I don't know. I seen the difference in energy when Edom came up and when that that officer was speaking. I see the body language of the officer. He doesn't look happy. He couldn't even stay still. He was moving back and forth, making faces, you know. And Edom just started talking, you know. Oh yeah, you know. But to me, I don't know. I feel like he's being forced to do this. Maybe not. I don't know. But either way, you know, we do have to remember that we are a holy nation, right? So, yeah, we know we are better. Yeah, we know we are supposed to be on top, but we are not at this moment. So then you got to move with wisdom, because as you see what Edom do and what all the other nations do, they would put you to death. They'll put innocent people to death and then cover it up. They'll cover it up every single time. So, you know, definitely just stay prayed up, continue and pray, continue and fast, continue and keep the laws of the Most High. And, you know, a lot of prophecy is coming to pass right now. A lot of prophecy. There's earthquakes all over the place. You know, pestilence all over the place. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. So, you know, it's hard for me to even keep up with the prophecies because they're all just coming, right? So, you know, I feel like now we've been saying that for the longest, but, you know, I'm going to continue to say now is a high time for our people to awake out of sleep and to, you know, come back to the laws of the Most High, right? So I yield on that.
Con, absolutely. Con. I said Trump would speak on it in an emergency briefing if it was Edo. Yeah, of course. Let's see. Police officer not trying to jeopardize his pension. Yeah, of course not. Bald face, no beard. That man.
He looked like he been in there for a good 20.
He ain't gonna. He gonna say anything against that? Nah.
Yeah, that man looked like he done. That man done look like he did at least 25, 30 years in the force.
I feel like
trying to jeopardize that.
It felt like everything he was saying, he was coached to say it.
Right.
So like the brother was saying, like, you know, the body language ain't adding up to the story. Like, there's too many red flags. So I hope the family requests the video footage to be made public, or for them to go review it and see what actually happened. And then I hope they actually find out the truth, most High willing. Because there's too many red flags in this story.
Though all the suffering and pain our precious people go through, suicide is not a thing of our people.
I ain't gonna lie. I wanted to go into that, like, but I didn't want to speak out of ignorance on it, because that's a good point. Like, through all the suffering and pain, like, Jake ain't the type to grab a rope and put it around his neck and just hang there. That's personally me. I speak as a man when I say this. I could be wrong and ignorant, but I speak as a man when I say this. I don't see Jake hanging himself because he's going through all of that. Now, I can understand. Now, there's other ways that he probably may have done that Jake end up taking themselves out, but I don't think this would be one way a Jake would do this, to go out in public and then hang themselves in public. Nah, because the mind of a person that's going through that is they're saying that they're better. Them being dead is better off, is a burden lifted off the people that they care about, off their shoulders. That burden is off of their shoulders by them being dead. And I don't think a person who has that mindset will go do that openly at a school. It will be more in a place where they can't be found or in their own homes. But I yield.
We'll definitely track the story. The Most High said, anything that's hid, shall be revealed. So, Most High is going to reveal it. Praise right. Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Absolutely. At the end of the day, the Most High God is going to reveal what needs to be revealed, and the truth will prevail. So, brothers, anything else you want to bring up before we close out? I'll praise the Most High. Well, we say peace and blessings to the children of Israel. Continue to fight the demons that's coming against you. We have Day of Atonement coming up, so make sure you're putting off the old man, killing any habits that's contrary to you being the best version of yourself. Continue to stay motivated. Continue to stay on fire for the Most High God. Continue to pray for your brothers and sisters, and continue to stay on the righteous and narrow path. So with that being said, I say peace and blessings, health and protection to the children of Israel, and death and destruction of Babylon. Shalom.
Shalom.
Just follow these laws, but will it take us? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, I make them wake up. Can them over everything, we'll make it through it. Can them over everything, we'll make it through it. Can them over everything, we'll make it through it.
Rules speed. 613.
Just can them over everything, we'll make it. Kingdom over everything, we'll make it through. Trials of gold, defining souls. Acceptable men and women, that's goals. Kingdom over everything, we'll make it through. Kingdom over everything. Those that endure till the end shall be saved. Road was paved. Give him his praise, Yeshaya the name. Kingdom over everything, we'll make it through. It's kingdom over everything. Just follow these laws, but will it take us? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, I make them wake up. Kingdom over everything, we'll make it through. Kingdom over everything. This the season, pray without ceasing. Patient through the lowest estates, I but a reason, Kingdom over everything, we make it through. Kingdom over everything. Just man falling 7 times, but they getting up, repented up, no turning back now, he sent for us. Kingdom over everything, we make it through. Kingdom over everything. Fear the Most High, keep commandments while we standing. Fulfillment, water baptism, then resurrection, Kingdom over everything, we'll make it through. It's kingdom over everything. Allow me to introduce my beloved sister, Amani. Talk to him, sis.
Born into a war, just when you thought your body was yours. Can't even afford, so many bodies robbed of themselves. Spirits rebel, closer to hell. She enlarges bigger than jails. More souls he compels, uncover her veil. Secrets and tell, lost sheep from the bottom prevail. Heavily round, rejoice, many waters make him clean. Same sound of his voice, not of this world. Not in it to win it, soon to be finished. Kingdom everlasting, I rent it. Children be the pivot. Have a look into the kingdom, no adults in it. Mine can be wicked, it's mine if I win it. What besets us cannot be listed. Can't let your guard down for a sec, much less a minute.
Rules speed. 613.
Can't let your guard down for a sec, much less a minute. Spiritual eyes, gotta see yourself and deny. Baptized out of lies, narrow abide. What cometh before the fall? Nothing but pride, jealousy, the demise. Care of this life, inhumane. Just look at the skies, purpose fulfilled through the clouds. Birds free when they fly. Angels shake at the shine. His glory, beginning and the end of the story. Philosophy bore me, never hear the end of the story. Used to be a consumer, knowing that it wasn't good for me. Life and death, what a choice that I had laid before me.
What a choice.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Lord forgive us, we use our salt like sinners. Under pressure when there's a witness, water and blood was always in us. Key to the kingdom, just acknowledge it, we are sinners. Covered by the blood, the water stands up as a witness. Covered by the blood, the water stands up as a witness.
Rules speed. 613.